Okay, I have a lot of shows that I've finished within the last, like, week or two, so I want to talk about them because I have, like, 5. So one of them is that I just finished. It's called Filing for Love, and it's about this guy who works at this company. He works as an auditor. He works on like the like team 1. They're like the best team. They're, you know, the most successful. They get the best cases, whatever. Well, he's seen with a woman in the stairwell by his new manager. Boss, I guess, manager, whatever. Nothing was happening on his end. The woman literally threw herself on him, and his manager saw them kissing, and that woman is engaged. So she thinks that they're having an affair. They're not. That's an important note. So she ends up moving him to team 3 of the auditing section of the job, which is like the kind of the low. No one really respects these people. They get the worst cases. They get the dumbest, pettiest things that they have to do, and a lot of things they have to deal with his affairs. So he basically gets put on this like low tier job, if you will, and him and his boss do not get along. Well, as time goes on, he starts to slowly kind of get a footing in his section, and he starts working really closely with his boss because they just end up on a lot of like cases together. But then also he gets an anonymous tip that she's having an affair, and so then he starts investigating her. But as he starts investigating her, he starts to get to know her, and he actually starts to realize she's not what he thought. She's nuanced and interesting and different and whatever. They fall in love, whatever. The second lead couple is the worst couple that I've seen in a while, mostly because, so the second lead couple is the CEO of the company, or vice chairman or whatever, and then his secretary. Now, when I started the show, I was like kind of not confused, but like interested in why the second male lead was played by a pretty prolific actor. He's a pretty well-known actor in the Korean show industry, and has been in many shows as the main lead. So him as the second lead was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, but like, slay, he's a good actor either way. Well, I didn't love his character. His acting was fine. So his character is married, but it's a marriage of convenience of like a marriage of not contract. What is the word I'm looking for? Like a business marriage. Like they do not care about each other. She cheats on him. It's whatever. Like they are not in love by any means. And his secretary is in love with him. Okay. His secretary knows he's married. Keep that in mind. And she did make a move or two on him, but also at the same time, they also work in this very like, nothing happens technically between them. Like she tries to kiss him, but he's like, I'm not having it. And he like pulls away or whatever. He's like, I'm married. He also has no feelings for her at all. Like there's no cheating. Because I kind of was like, are we going to get like a cheating for the second lead? No, not at all. Because he doesn't like her at all. And she like knows that. Anyways. So then we find out that the second male lead's ex is our female lead. And then that plays a whole part into it. And he is just so will not just take no for an answer. She's like, we're not dating. I'm not interested in you. I don't want you. And he's like, oh, no. Whiny. Well, then the secretary sees that. So then she's trying to screw the female lead over because she's like, you can't have, you're involved with the guy that I like, even though the female lead is like, I don't want you. Like, we're exes. We're done. And get this. The second female lead's ex is the male lead. So there's like this very weird like love square where I like you, you like me, but he likes you, but she doesn't like you. And it just gets really confusing. Anyways, but it's not actually that confusing. When you watch the show, it makes sense. But anyways, so I don't know. That part of it, not a huge fan. I didn't like the second lead couple. I didn't really think they deserved redemption because the second female lead like really screws the main cast over like pretty aggressively, and it's like, girl, relax, you are doing too much. So that part of it I wasn't a huge fan of. I also did like her character when the show started, and I liked the second male lead, but they kind of ruined their characters for me, and I just overall though, good show. The main couple's really cute. I was very curious to see the pairing because I was like, I don't know, like I'm curious to see how this works out. They were adorable. I really liked them. So other than the second lead couple, I liked it. They get a redemptive arc, but it's like, I don't know. It feels kind of like a redemption arc is what I meant, by the way. I don't know why I said redemptive. It kind of feels like not fair, to be fully honest, because it's like, y'all did so much damage and were so problematic for so long, and it doesn't really feel fair that you get a redemptive, whatever. Overall, though, I liked it a lot. Okay, so the next show I watched was called Wonderfuls. Okay, I gotta lock in for this one. Okay, first of all, Chan Woo is the main male lead. Not a huge fan. I've made known my feelings about Chan Woo's acting. I think it's bad. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he has no expression. I think he's kind of boring. However, I think if he was given a character with a little more personality, he might be a little more interesting. And I kind of felt that the character that he played in this show, they just keep casting him in the same type of roles that he just does not excel very well in. And I really, really wish they would stop, because it's just like, he's not good in this role. Like, don't make him do this. He's not good at it. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so, whatever. I think the character would have been more compelling with a different actor. I think a different actor would have brought nuance. I really like the word nuance. Would have brought a little fresh air to the character and would have made the character a little more interesting, because I think inherently the way they wrote the character was really boring and wasn't very interesting. So I think the character, I keep saying the same word, but not the actor himself, but the actual person he's playing is kind of boring. So I think that doesn't help that they then have kind of an expressionless actor. That's my feelings about Chan Woo. I don't think he's very interesting and his acting at all. I've seen comments where people were like, oh, he's really good in this show, or he's really good in this show, but I'm just like, but he's not consistently good. That's the problem. The female lead in the show, however, was very good. She's a very, not creative is not the word I'm looking for, like a very varied actress. She's done a lot of different roles, and she's been good in all of them because she's a good actress. I kind of was a little annoyed at her character for most of the show because she was very silly, and it kind of got a little annoying just because it was like, this is not a real person. Like, this is not how real people act. But to be fair, the show has superheroes, and superpowers, so I guess that's fair. And then the two guys were like her little sidekicks, I guess. The three of them, or well, it's like the main four of them are the characters, but the other two guys, they're fine. Both of their acting was a bit exaggerated as well, but that was kind of the point. It was supposed to be silly and fun and whatever. But I think this happens sometimes where you make a show that has a distinctly silly side and then a serious side, and it doesn't always go together that well, and this was the problem with this show. It didn't totally go together with the seriousness of the villain's plot, because that plot, in my opinion, was way more interesting. Because it's basically like about these characters, these kids that got experimented on, so now they have powers, and there's this bad guy, and he's trying to like bring them back and like exploit their powers and try to make this, because there's this one kid they call the Child of Eternity, who has a heart that never stops or like they can't die, their heart doesn't die or whatever, and they're trying to give the heart to this old crusty man who I don't know why we needed to see him live any longer. He was so old, but then they tried to put the heart into him or like give the blood to him. It does not matter. I'm not going any more into the plot because there was a lot that was going on. Overall, the show was good. It was fun. I thought the villains were so much more compelling, especially because they cast one of the villains Bae Nara plays. And I just love Bae Nara. I think he's a great actor, and I think he's also so much more attractive than Chan Woo. So in my opinion, he should have been the main character. But I also know that Chan Woo couldn't have done the villain. So I just think that Bae Nara is such a good actor, and he's so, oh my gosh, he's so talented. Like I've seen him in like 3 different shows, and he was so good in all of them. And the girls, the 2 actresses that played the sisters, they were both really good as well. So it was like everyone else on the villain side was so interesting, and then everyone on the other side was like silly or boring. So I just was like, whatever. Oh, and this is another side plot thing that I was going to talk about. So one of the characters, his wife, I did not like, and she's not even a major character, but this character in the show, he's one of like the good guys, I guess is how you could explain it. He is kind of like not respected amongst his family or really in the town. He's kind of seen as this crazy guy who ends up low-key totally being like right about stuff. But he also is just like kind of pathetic. And his wife does not respect him, threatens to divorce him all the time. And then he finally saves her life and his daughter's life. And it's like this cool moment, and he has this cool scene, and he kisses his wife, and it's this big like, okay, my husband is like kind of popping off, whatever. And then the big fight that happens, all the townspeople lose their memory, so they don't remember it. So she just goes back to being really disrespectful and like rude to him for like literally no reason. And it's shown multiple times how much he cares about his wife and his daughter. And it's just that trope, whether it's done by a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, because it's the wife, the nagging wife. She sucks. I hate women. No, it's any character that's like that is unlikable. And I don't like the character vibe that's in a lot of K-dramas where either the husband and wife low-key hate each other and are so disrespectful to each other, or one is like kind of pathetic and the other one is just like always mean to them and always disrespectful and never appreciates them and never acknowledges that they do love them. And it's, ooh, I hate that trope. It's so annoying to me. I'm like, hey, there are marriages where people love each other. I need you to understand that. Like, you don't all hate each other. And it's always done for comedy. And let me tell you, never funny. Anyways, that is my rant from that character because I just thought it was so annoying. Okay, I'm going to talk about this show. So there's a show called Azure. It's a color, spring. Azure. I do not know how to pronounce that word apparently. Anyways, for a mid-show, for 6 episodes, it sure made me mad. Basically, oh gosh, it's such a like boring plot too. It's not an interesting show. I cannot believe I watched the whole thing. But anyways, basically it's about this girl who's this like, she was a swimmer. She got a shoulder injury. She kind of was not swimming. So she goes back to her hometown to like kind of recuperate and hide and just like not be around. And then she meets this guy who lives at her old house, who's like, he's like rents her house, and he's a henyo, I think is how you say it. He's a diver. And basically they get off on the wrong foot. She's really bratty and rude to him for like legitimately no reason and hates him so much. It doesn't make sense. And then eventually it's like, oh, I kind of misunderstood you. And then I want you to teach me how to dive because I need to have a life purpose. That's like pretty much the whole plot. And initially when I saw that the show was coming out, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Kind of a chill, different vibe. The cinematography is really pretty. The acting from the main female character, like the main character, Yeri, she's from Red Velvet. Unfortunately, my queen is not the best actress. She has a great voice. She's a great performer. Not a very good actress. She's okay. She wasn't terrible. She wasn't great. Ironically enough, Joy from the same group is also an actress and is also a bit of a mid-actress. I don't know. She was okay. She wasn't very compelling. To be honest, she was really annoying and whiny. They made her very childish and it was like not cute. Oh, but you want to talk about childish? So there's a second female lead, right? The other girl in the show that she's friends with. So annoying. They made her so annoying and so whiny and she acts like a child and it's really weird. She's also not a very good actress. I don't know why that was the like character vibe they gave her. She's also obsessed with the male lead, but it's like kind of weird because it's like he never is like, hey, I'm not interested. He just like lets her do whatever it's weird. And the male lead I liked. The actor is beautiful. I thought he was the best actor of the show. He's also super tan in the show, so he's super sexy. He looks so good. Oh my gosh. But overall, yeah, the show's mid. It wasn't that interesting. I kind of was wondering if they were going to do a romance between the two main characters. There's not really anything. They have a couple moments where it's like kind of cute, but it's more like friend type cute vibes, or like you could like be like, oh, maybe someday in the future it could turn romantic, but not right now. They also do have a decent age gap in the show, I think, and in real life. He's like 35 and she's like, well, no, I guess she's 27. It's like 8 years. It's not insane, but she also kind of has a baby face, so it looks like he's a lot older than her, and he is. I don't know. It was mid. I would not recommend it, and it was so boring that for only having 6 episodes and being 30 minutes, it was like so slow and so boring. Okay, what's another show? Oh, okay. Oh boy, I have thoughts about this one as well. So this one's called Goldland. It's literally about this girl. She works at a airport. She works in the like security department when they let stuff go through the like scanner, and her boyfriend basically calls her and is, because he was supposed to come home, and he's like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't come home. He was like traveling, he was in a different country. Well, then he basically calls her at one point, is basically like, there is this package that's going to come through the scanner, I need you to let it through no matter what. And she's kind of like, oh, okay, what? So she does that. Well, it turns out he's working with, the show gets so entangled. I'm gonna be so honest. All the characters are so entangled. I can't even really remember who's who from the beginning. But basically, he works with this, like, chairman, CEO guy who's, like, really rich and evil. And basically, there's an entire casket filled with gold that him and this other guy are transporting. Well, he ends up taking, the boyfriend takes the truck and basically tries to steal the gold. Then proceeds to, for the most longest amount of time, this gold is going back and forth between people. He gets it to his girlfriend. That's like the whole plot, is he's like, you need to take this gold, blah, 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 blah. You need to hide it. Well, then this starts a very bunch of back and forth of people, different people trying to get the gold. And her becoming increasingly more obsessed with the gold and increasingly weirder personality as the show goes on. She just becomes basically obsessed. She works with this one guy who is the other guy in the truck that were originally transporting the gold, named Woongi. So her and Woongi are, they knew each other as kids. And she doesn't really trust him. And you find out towards basically the end of the show, she never really trusted him or this other character in the show, this police detective who is working with the bad guys, but ends up, actually, that's her long-lost father. It's a whole thing. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so there's just a lot of back and forth, a lot of people getting murdered. She almost gets killed like 4 times. Woongi almost gets killed 4 times. Oh my gosh. Okay, so their relationship is very interesting because she does not trust him pretty much the entire time, but they save each other multiple times. So there was a lot of discourse about her not really making a lot of sense, where she'll be like, I don't care about anyone. If I don't have this gold, like, if I don't keep this gold, I'll just die. Like, I don't want to live if I don't have it. I don't care about these people. I'm going to betray them multiple times over. But then also she was, like, risking her life to save them, like, multiple times. And it was just her character and her personality. Like, what am I saying? Her actions and her words weren't really matching. They were kind of, like, back and forth. It wasn't making a ton of sense. She's just kind of an odd character. Park Bo-young is one of my favorite actresses. I think she kills every role she plays. I did not like her character in this show because she was very confusing. I was just like, I don't understand what you're doing. And I really liked the actor that plays Woongi because, oh my gosh, I was obsessed with him. It was like, oh my gosh, I'll kill for you type vibes. Like, not anything actually romantic, but, like, it was a what could have been. It was so good. But then their relationship ends kind of weird, where it's like she basically abandons him on the side of the street after him and the detective risk their lives to save her, and then the detective literally dies to protect her. I don't know. Not a huge fan of her, whatever. And then the show ends weird, and it kind of indicates that her and Woongi are gonna die because they end up in a different country they have all the money, they end up keeping the gold and making it into money. But then you see a character that was in the plot earlier, and you're like, oh, so they're gonna die. But we're like, it's a setup for season 2. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure we're just getting a setup for them about to die. Because that guy the gold was supposed to be his, and it was the whole thing. Overall, confusing, weird, really good acting. The show takes also place 99% during nighttime, so it is a very dark show. Like, it's almost always nighttime in this show. And I think what bothered me was there were such good rescue scenes between her and Woongi, and such good scenes. Like, there's a scene where she saves him. Guys, oh my gosh, it was such a good scene. And then to have the end result of their relationship just kind of be weird, it was just like, I don't know, I wasn't a fan. Because they gave them such good chemistry, and they gave them such good, like, motive to protect each other. And then at the end of the day, she still didn't trust him. And it was like, she's like, but it was also weird because she was like, oh, well, I trust you, and, like, I know you won't take the gold from me, but there's a tiny chance that you might, so I have to, whatever. And it's like, what? Anyways, she was confusing and weird. I did not understand her character or anything she stood for. And yeah, it ended on a weird note, and I don't know. The acting was really good. The characters were interesting, but the execution of the plot was odd. Okay, last show. Strangers from Hell. Now, this show is freaking weird. So basically, it's a very simple plot. It's about this guy. He moves from Busan to Seoul, and his girlfriend also lives in Seoul. She works at this company. She deals with super annoying people. She's also super annoying, but we'll get into that. And he basically got a job with one of his college seniors. So, like, one of the guys he went to college with, who's, like, older than him and his, like, senior or whatever, Sunbae is what they call it, basically gets him a job as an intern. So he starts at this new job. He has no money. He can't find anywhere to live that's cheap enough. So he ends up at this place called the Eden Boarding House. Now, he gets there, and if you were a normal human being, you would walk in and say, no, I'm actually going to leave immediately, because it is the weirdest vibes. The lady that works there is weird. All the residents are strange. They're all creepy and, like, gross and weird. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So a normal human would be like, I'm not going to stay here. Well, our babe, Jungwoo, is a little stupid and stays. Because he doesn't really have any other options, but I'm like, you could have stayed at a hotel at this point, babe. Like, you would have saved yourself a lot of trouble. But anyways, so basically what happens is, as the plot goes on, he just keeps getting weirder and weirder vibes from these people. He's like, he's getting really paranoid. He's, like, really worried about his, like, safety. He's like, these people are going to kill me. These people hate me. He keeps telling people around him that the people he lives with are weird. people keep telling him he's sensitive. They're saying you're making it up. There's nothing actually going on. Well, there is. Shocking. And the only character who really believes him and looks into these weird coincidences and these weird people is this police officer. Now, she's probably the only good character in this whole show, the only actual good person. And she's trying to help Jung-woo. She's in contact with him. They're in contact. She's trying to figure it out. She's trying to piece together this crazy, weird puzzle. Well, because what actually is going on is these people that live at this boarding house are murderers, and then on top of that, cannibalistic murderers. So they kill people and they like to eat people. And they're super creepy and gross and weird, and they've been doing this for years. So the one lady, the older lady who's like in charge of the boarding house, well, her parents died in a fire. She got the insurance payout. She married twice. Both her husbands died in an accident, and she got the insurance payout. Well, then she started an orphanage, and then there was a huge fire in the orphanage, and then she got that insurance payout. So Girly Pop is just rolling in the money. She's got these weird people that she's known since childhood that she's like kept an eye on and raised, and they're all crazy, and they're all like psychopaths. And anyways, so basically the end of the show is like Jung-woo is like finally like trying to get evidence that these people are evil, and he's trying to get away from them, and he keeps trying to get away, and then the one guy kidnaps his girlfriend, so he has to go back to this house, and he's trying to get her, and then him and the last guy have this big fight scene, whatever. He ends up killing the guy, and he survives. Him and his girlfriend survive. The police officer, thank God, she survived. She had this really cool slay moment where she was stuck in this like jail cell because she was stupid and she went into this place by herself. They lock her in this jail cell. Well, to get out, she breaks this guy's ankle monitor because he had an ankle monitor because he was a sex offender. And that brings the police there, and then that's how she's able to get out. Anyways, it was very smart of her. Aside from being, in general stupid. Anyways, they find out that all these people they murdered, they find this one guy that was like reported missing for so long. He was like trapped in there, chained up because they're just weird freaks. Anyways. And they know that the other residents that were in the house, so it was the twin brothers and this one guy. And by the time the plot had ended, it was one twin brother because they had killed the other twin brother. And then it was the weird pervert guy, the sex offender. So we know that they died, and we know that Moonjun, who's the head of the evil people that Jung-woo kills at the end, we know that he killed the other twin and then the pervert. Well, he didn't actually. So what actually happened was Jung-woo, the main character, has been going increasingly insane. He's been just losing it slowly but surely, and he already had severe anger issues that we saw glimpses of where he would basically fantasize and beating someone up. He was not okay, and he just started to lose it, and he just started to go crazy and beat people up, and it turns out he actually is the one that killed the pervert and the other twin when we thought it was someone else. We thought it was the other guy. Oh, and the old lady too, the older lady who ran the boarding house. She was also one of the victims, because we're led to believe that it was the other guy, the other main character, the other evil guy, if you will, the ringleader. But it was actually Jung-woo, and that's what the police officer, the woman, she realizes when she's talking to him. She's like, oh, he's the one that murdered everybody, not the other guy, and he's insane as well. Because for Moonjun, he could have been like, oh, it was self-defense, it's self-defense. But for the other people, he just killed them out of cold blood because he hated them so much. Anyway, so you just see his mental decline and his paranoia and his honestly just insanity just fully come out, and he just fully is evil. And the end of the show is so weird because it's like there's no real conclusion. It's just kind of like we see him and we see that he's clearly gone off the deep end and he's totally in his evilness. It was a very interesting take on mental health and paranoia and what can happen to you when you're subjected to such weird manipulation tactics and different things. Because the one guy who he ends up, Jung-woo kills, the ringleader guy, is literally just slowly manipulating him and making him crazy basically, and just planting such insane and stalking him. It's just it's a very interesting take on that type of vibe of a show, but it's weird and I would never watch it again. Because it's very strange and it's not that good. It was pretty boring until episode 7. It's 10 episodes. So I'm talking the last two to 3 episodes were interesting. Everything else was boring. It's not scary in the sense of oh my gosh, jump scares or whatever. It's scary because these people are insane. And it's very darkly lit. The camera angles are weird, stuff like that. But it's not scary. Because that was my hesitation on it. I was like, oh, what is it? And it's an interesting take too, because it's no there's no supernatural things. It's nothing like, oh, there's ghosts or there's monsters or something. It's like, no, it's just people going crazy. Like, mentally losing it because they were insane. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the shows I've watched. That one I would rate high because the acting was incredible and the last couple episodes were insane, but the show's plot itself, not very interesting. But yeah, I would rate that one pretty high just for the acting, because the acting is really, really good. Anyways, so overall, a good show. Insane, but fun in a really disturbing way. But yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about. I think those are all the shows. Yep. Okay. Bye-bye.